Okay, welcome to the Stampscapes show and tell reveal of the new nature sets. I'm calling them nature sets. They're Halloween sets, but they do integrate with all of our different images, rocks, grasses, dirt roads, spooky branches, spooky, moons and clouds, etc., etc., etc. These are kind of more I don't know. I guess if they were in other sets, I would call them kind of visual focal points, be it a cabin or something like that, or a little person, or even just a small little hand. But anyways, there are I don't know. I wouldn't. It's not a set, but there's a release of three different, roughly 5.5 by 8.5 inch plates coming out, the standard size plates that we have in the Stampscapes line. Okay, starting off with the first one is Nature Set number 38. It's Stampscapes code 59B, and it's Halloween set number 1. These sets will all come in one untrimmed sheet of rubber or the standard pre-trimmed cling foam matted versions of the sets, by the way. Okay, so let's just take a look. So I've already gone over these designs in a different, two different videos as I was drawing them. But here we're going to see the scale of them. So I have these pens right up here so you can kind of see the scale of the different designs. Now, I really wanted to cram these sets, really full of imagery to really get a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak. So we have a lot of images in here. They're a little bit smaller than maybe what I would have done, I don't know, years ago when we have a lot of larger designs. But I'm kind of formatting all of this around the quarter page card format. I do a lot of half pages and sometimes full pages, and sometimes even very rarely, but, like a tabloid size 11 by 17. But we've kind of reduced down here a little bit just to pack it in so you can get a really full range of different images to enjoy. And again, so they would fit really well on a quarter page card. Okay, so that being said, we have these this column and this fence starting right here, and this was originally quite big, okay, but I've reduced it down so that I can have two different sizes. So if we have something like this, we can have like an entryway right here with this fence that goes off to the side, and you can go column, fence, and then just take that and go column, and you can extend that out as far as you want. But if you want to, you can also have some like this fence column format right here, kind of in the background of something like this structure. Or it could just be, some area kind of fenced off, and you can have a bunch of these tombstones in the middle of a scene. Or you can have a zombie walking through there or whatever you want. Okay, so we've largely gone with the tombstones and fencing around these structures right here. So this one right here, the church, is the same as the church small, just flip-flopped. And this one's, the size has changed. So they're small, that's big enough a change in size to make it, quite different from one another. So it's not just flip-flopped, same size, just giving it a little bit of extra scale and variation. All right, in the cemetery, you can have this coffin right here, and there's just a little hand coming out, kind of pushing that coffin open, and then we have the hand rising right there. So I don't know, just a little whimsical fun with those different types of visual focal points. And when you have a hand coming out of the ground like that, if you don't have a bunch of other things going on, the viewer's eye is always going to find that type of imagery and lock in on it, after they've kind of gone over the range of whatever composition you're doing. Okay, so that's that. More critters. Okay, now there are a ton of critters in here. And each one of these, again, if you put one of these in a scene, with maybe a full moon rising in the distance or anything like that, doesn't have to be, but if you put any of these little creatures in here, they really become kind of the visual focal point. I mean, if you see a zombie coming towards you in a scene, that eye is going to go right to it and land on it. Okay, so we have different bats in here, some different things for the skies, of course. We have the different size of bats here. This one's kind of going this direction. These ones are smaller, going in this direction, so you can have the swirl if you want to. This is a bat swirling like a big, huge, I don't know, whatever, awakening of bats flying out of like a cave or something like that. We have our little cute little hanging bat right here. And just like on this hanging bat right here with those little beady eyes, we put those beady eyes on these crows right here. These two right here are the same, just flip-flopped, and this one's smaller. A couple different sizes of snails. I really see this as like a worm's eye view of a scene. I like to have like a tree trunk or something like that with the snails kind of crawling on it, or a big leaf. And that kind of, it adds to the spirit of this whole kind of kind of whimsical, macabre type of setting, okay? What's more Halloween than a black cat? We got these inchworms here going in two different directions. Spider, you can have this one spider kind of hanging down from like a spider line if you want to in your scene. And this is what I was mentioning right here. I've grouped these three frogs together in kind of a smaller arrangement. You can put them in a pond or a lake, or put little cattails around it, or reeds coming out of the water. And I like this one so much, this guy, that I did a larger version of like that. So, I mean, you can have these like in the background and another head like here in the foreground or two or something like that, just kind of poking their heads out from the water. And that, I thought that would be kind of fun. Speaking of water, we have the shark fins kind of circling around something. You can put like a boater in the middle here or something like that. It could be shark fins kind of going around. I thought these would be really fun inside that little pond stamp image. Just kind of circling around in the water and like practically like a little puddle. Flying saucer, beaming up or down are aliens right here. I made these guys pretty small right here. You can see they're almost like the size of like maybe a little bit bigger than a pen cap or something like that. But I don't know. This image, this set right here, I don't know what was 27 images. I don't know. There's a huge number of images in this thing. So far less than $1. If you're buying it in unmatted form. Cling foam matted is about $1 a stamp or something like that. So really, a lot of imagery for your dollar. And for me too, when I'm getting these made into engraving and a matrix mold board, things like that, it benefits to really kind of fill in the space if you can. So, because I'm going to be using these too. So, and I can't wait. And I like to have a lot of imagery. What can I say? Okay, so the third plate is this one right here. And I thought this made a pretty decent grouping. It's kind of like Home Sweet Home or something like that in a spooky kind of way. And we can put some pumpkins, on the whatever pathway leading up to the Victorian house. What's more kind of spooky, it says spooky than kind of an unkempt Victorian house. We did it in two different sizes like this. So if you want to put this kind of like on a hill, a la, the Bates Motel or something like that, then we needed kind of a smaller one like this. You could even put a little figure up in the windows. So I made the windows interior lit. So when you stamp them out and darken the perimeter, then you can have these windows illuminated saying, welcome, come here, and, disappear forever. Okay, we have these old churches right here. The old churches could have went on that other plate, but I just didn't have room for them, so I put them on this one. And we have 5 different types of skeleton imagery. You might have seen these ones before. I did it in 2 different sizes. I don't know if those companies that used to, this is like these 2 right here are copyright free artwork. But I use mine all the time. Now I made this one a little bit bigger than the one that I have, and this one's quite a bit smaller, so you can have, foreground, background if you want to, just kind of dancing in the moonlight. I like to have kind of like a full moon, like right above these arms, so it looks like it's kind of conjuring or kind of, I don't know, doing a moon dance or something like that. All right. We have our dog walk right here. I really wanted to do this one larger, but when I was looking at kind of scale, I thought, I think people will find more use for this slightly smaller one like that. Okay, the skeleton bride. I couldn't make her too small because there's a lot of details in here with her kind of skeletal hand, and she has kind of a rose in her hand right there. So you can stamp all this out or ink it up in black, but do the rose like red, and I think that would be really cool. We have this couple right here going out for a little romantic, I don't know, whatever, midnight, ride on the lake. And he has a bunch of flowers here for her, and she has like a little bouquet in her hand or something like that. Pumpkins of different sizes, okay? This one right here is the same as this one. We just flip-flopped it, and this one right here is the same as this one. Flip-flopped, and, kind of more up a background. And this is just smaller. Now, we were talking about when I was doing some of the flower field scenes, and someone said, hey, they're going to make their field into like a potato field. And I was thinking, oh, yeah, we can use that flower field for in a Halloween type of setting. I'm just going to put some of these pumpkins in the rows, and I think that would be kind of interesting. So altering designs for different types of usages or holidays, something like that. All right, so I can't wait to use these, and I was going to talk about some different papers here. I see this vintage style of paper like a perfect one for some really quick Halloween scenes. You could stamp your imagery in black on this, and it'll give it that real kind of aged look. And this type of paper comes in different patterns. I think there's like 5 different patterns in here from one another. But I think that would be perfect. And also, I don't know, I couldn't find it. I have it sitting around in my office somewhere, but I have a pack now of the printable vinyl glow-in-the-dark sticker paper. And that should be really fun to use with these types of images right here, having kind of this green, eerie glow in the background, or can you imagine this, stamping this over that glow in the dark, and then the windows will have that green glow when you charge it up with light and, take it into a dark space to view it. And I think that would be really interesting, as that glow in the dark sticker paper is actually really strong in terms of its light retention. Okay, so anyways, hope you like the designs. It's not for everyone. A lot of people are, it's like, hey, I'm not into like Halloween too much, or something like that. And I get it. I am more into it after my son became so enamored with Halloween. I think it's because, before he was even like 1 year old, this couple next door to us in our old house would set up this big, huge, elaborate cemetery type of situation in their front yard. So my son, before he knew it was supposed to be really spooky, was always intrigued by it and always loved walking over there, even before he could speak, and just loved it. And we spent a lot of times in those Spirit Halloween stores, those seasonal stores every year. And I don't know, and now in his teen years, ever since he was probably, I think it was in 5th grade, he started like reading all those Goosebumps books and started reading some Stephen King. And it's like, for a while there, well, for, I don't know, half a decade or whatever, we were just watching like all the horror movies we can. So I don't know. I became a little bit more into it, but I've always liked stamping it too. So a lot of imagery you can see here. That was a lot of work. I would have liked to have gotten it out a couple weeks earlier, but better late than never. And we still have all of September to go, and all of October before the holiday gets here. But it should be a set that I enjoy for years to come. And I hope you do too. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks as always for tuning into the Stampscapes channel.